We have now on the line, in our line, for our interview for today, His Excellency, our Israeli Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Ambassador Ilan Fluss. Good morning, Ambassador Fluss.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning.
Good morning, sir, and thank you very much once again for giving us the opportunity to have you in our program. So I'll go straight to my question, Ambassador. Just recently, Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen visited Jimmy Pacheco, the Filipino that was held hostage by Hamas at the Itzhak Shamir Medical Center. By doing so, what does this signify, Ambassador, and what were discussed during the visit?
Well, I think this visit was very important. The minister cares, and the state of Israel, I think it was a very strong message for the minister that the state of Israel and the government of Israel cares about the hostages. They were all innocent civilians working in Israel. In this case, Jimmy, he was working with his employer, taking care of him, and he was part of the family. And the minister came, first of all, to express his sympathy and his happiness that he is back of captivity. He was held by Hamas for so many days, and it was, he came to show support and solidarity, and also to express that the Israeli government, and he said it very clearly, the Israeli government will continue to support him in any of his needs. There is an Israeli law, the law of victims of terror, which gives there is in this law all the different tools and ways that the Israeli government supports people who are victims of terrorism, be them Israeli or non-Israeli.
Okay. How does Israel and its intelligence gathering, including the IDF, tell if the other Filipino, Noraline Babadilla, remains in Hamas hands or otherwise?
Well, unfortunately we have no evidence yet and no information. We have taken DNA tests, and until now, she's not the only one. There are also still missing Israelis. That we have to remember that the atrocities were unimaginable, and some people, victims, were burnt to ashes, were sort of, again, I don't want to go back to October 7, but it's still difficult to identify some of the casualties on that day, and we don't have any evidence yet.
Okay. Ambassador, just to confirm this, we had this information that Qatar sent an announcement that a 2-day extension of the truce was approved. Can we confirm this? Did Israel concur or agreed to this 2-day extension of the truce or ceasefire?
Well, since I'm here, not in Israel, I also understand that there's going to be an extension of this, what we call, not ceasefire, we call it a pause in the fighting, in order to allow for this exchange, because we have to understand one of the two goals of this war is to bring back all the hostages. So we had 4 days of pause. Now we just now ended the 4 days, and there is now probably an extension of 2 more days, which means we're going to have 20 more hostages that will be released by Hamas. Of course, there is an exchange from the Israeli side. There is more humanitarian assistance which is coming into Gaza. So hopefully this is where we are now. 2 more days. We know that there are still more than 160 hostage in Gaza, and we hope to see all of them back home.
Okay. Will Israel agree on another future talks concerning a longer ceasefire or truce with Hamas?
So again, it is important to understand a ceasefire is not negotiated. What we are negotiating is a pause in the fighting, because Israel believes that the only way, after so many years of this cycle of an operation, 2 years of semi-quiet, a few individual terror attacks, that we could, continue life as normal, and then every 2 years another operation in Gaza and more damage, more people killed, and then we go back to normal again every 2 years, again and again. After October 7, there is a realization that we cannot go back to as the norm of before, and we will not be allowing Hamas to build itself once again and will not allow any future terror attacks of Hamas as we have seen before. So this is the second goal of this war. Until this is not sorted out, there will be no ceasefire, and I think this is something which is totally recognized and understood globally.
So my last question for today, Your Excellency, Ambassador, is what is next for Israel after you have successfully done this military operation in Gaza, and if you're successful in weeding out this Hamas militant group, what does Israel plan to do after this?
So first of all, let me say that today it's very important. We're seeing families united again. Some of them are only partially united, some are fully united, some still members of the family are left in captivity. So we are seeing very optimistic footage coming from Israel, and many people are happy. Many others are still waiting for the loved ones and are still torn apart, and are still, of course, mourning the ones that they lost, and some of the children coming back home to realize that they are orphans now. So it's very complicated. Now, what will be the long-term solution? It's something that we are not discussing and not negotiating now, because we are into a war. Of course, a lot of paperwork is done by different think tanks, by different organizations. The most important thing for us in the long-term solution is actually very simple. It is not, we do not allow Hamas to rebuild itself as a terror organization, to continue its murderous attacks against Israel with its two purposes. One, to annihilate the state of Israel, to destroy the state of Israel, and secondly, it is to murder Israelis, Jews, and everybody living there. So we cannot continue living with Hamas on the border of Gaza. Who will be there? Who can be there? There are many options. If it is from the hopefully Palestinian moderate organizations, again, are they moderate? Are they recognizing Israel? International forces, UN, you name it. There are a lot of options which are also complicated to understand if they are good or bad. I don't want to go now into the details. It's very, very lengthy, very complicated. So I would think at this stage, we would say the most important thing is bring back the hostages. Number two, make sure Hamas cannot attack Israel once again in the future. Never again.
With that, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Ilan Fluss, on your time. Again, giving us your precious time over here in our station. Thank you very much, Ambassador, and shalom and God bless.
Shalom. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.